Welcome everybody to another Learn Squared live stream. You got Nick with Learn Squared here. I am joined by Ellie Cooper. Welcome Ellie to the show.
Hi, everyone.
We're so happy to have you. Guys, Ellie has created a new course. Concept art in Unreal Engine 5. You're looking at the picture on your screen right now that came from the course. As you can see, it is gorgeous. It is amazing. It's an incredible course. We're going to be telling you all about it on today's broadcast, so get ready for a really fun show. Not only are we showing off and talking about the course itself, we're of course going to be world premiering the trailer for the first time, so you'll learn even more about it, and you're going to find out a couple of fun bonuses that you can get. So stay tuned during the show to find out about those, including an exclusive discount for people who are watching the live stream. Only for people who are watching the live stream as it is live. So get even more excited. This is an exciting show. We got so much cool stuff to talk about. Guys, I think the best way to introduce you to concept art in UE5 is to check out that course trailer. So let's go take a look at the course.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, you won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at learnsquared.com.
Guys, concept art in Unreal Engine 5. You just found out all about it in that course trailer. And something you may not have known about is that there's a whole nother course. What's up with that? That's awesome. Ellie, you've been very busy.
Yeah, definitely. It's taken quite a while to record all of this. I've really gotten down into all the basics and tried to show you absolutely everything that I know so that you can use it when you create your own concept art in Unreal Engine.
And you know, it is really beautiful that like you're somebody who's like, let's say that you've used a little bit of Unreal Engine before, and you're familiar with some of the basic concepts. You can come into this and build some amazing concept art. But if you've never touched Unreal Engine before, if you've never even seen it before, you could come into this course, and because it includes all of that Unreal Engine 5 Basics course as well, you can go from zero to what you're seeing on screen. That is amazing.
Yeah, you can just go through the whole thing. You know, the whole point of this course is so that people, they don't feel scared by looking at Unreal Engine anymore. There's hardly any resources around doing concept art in Unreal Engine. And the basics is pretty much for everyone. Even if you're not a concept artist, you can still use that, just to get used to using it and understanding it and just feeling confident in it. That's the biggest thing.
And so I want to talk a little bit, before we jump into today's demo, I want to talk a little bit about your workflow and you using Unreal Engine 5 as a means to create concept art, which is not necessarily a lot of people's first thought when they think of Unreal Engine 5. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I use it a lot in my, like you say, in my concept art, and also to create cinematics in it as well. It kind of gives you that freedom. But I just found Unreal Engine was very creative, and that it was incredibly powerful as well, doing huge landscapes like the one that I have done for this course. It dealt with it beautifully. You know, there is no lag, no fireflies, no struggle whatsoever. And that's kind of the beauty of it. You don't have to worry so much about the technical restraints. You can just enjoy that creativeness, and that's why I enjoy it in my workflow. And like I was saying, I enjoy the fact that I can start to move my camera and animate and kind of create a short film out of it. You know, you have all this freedom in Unreal Engine. You know, you can use it in so many different ways. It's really cool.
I switched it over to the scene here where we're able to see a bunch of the work that you've done outside the course as well. All of these pictures that you guys are seeing on screen are using the same workflows Ellie talks about in the course. This one you're seeing right now is the one from the course. And you can see that it's just incredible photorealistic stuff that's being created. A lot of these are turned into videos, like the one that you're looking at right now was created during the session that Ellie did with us. And that one actually, was rendered out as a video in different weather conditions and stuff like that, which you saw, a clip from that in the trailer. This one you're seeing here with the, showing this kind of like incredible detailed study with the dinosaur bones in it. That one is also rendered out as a video, which you saw a piece of in the trailer as well. And so it's really versatile, the what you guys are able to create with these techniques and the amount of different things that you can do. And what's important to mention too is that in the Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, for anybody who's just taking the Basics course, no matter what discipline you're trying to get into with Unreal, that is going to get you comfortable with the basics that you need to know. So even if you are somebody who's like, I want to learn Unreal, but I don't necessarily want to know about how to do concept art, Unreal Engine 5 Basics is going to take you through all of the things you need to know in terms of like from the earliest stuff about like how to move around your assets, into lighting and materials and, all of the UE5 stuff like nanite and all those things, everything that's really going to be required to know, including a bunch of interactive, we call them challenges, where Ellie asks you at certain points, using only the skills you've acquired so far, to create something, even if it's something small, so that you can really learn through doing. And I think that's really powerful. We're going to be talking about that more throughout the show, and we're going to be jumping into that live demo in just a second. But let me say a quick hello to everybody who is in today's stream. Thanks to everybody for joining the show. We had a couple people join the show before the show started. There was unfortunately one or two comments that I think they disappeared because they were, a few days earlier. But I want to say thank you to, the people who commented a few days ago. I guess YouTube cleared the chat at a certain point. Leon Renner, welcome, or thank you for posting and getting in there, camping out early before the show started. Is there a video preview on the Patreon available early? Hey, I'm happy that people are excited about the Patreon. We just launched, for anybody who doesn't know, we launched a Patreon page where we have a bunch of insider goodies. We call it the Learn Squared Insider. You can get an exclusive look at, early looks at courses. You can find out about unreleased courses. Our Patreon subscribers actually had a little rundown of what these two courses were before anybody else. You can get insider looks at videos of our courses and stuff like that. So yes, there is actually available a 15-minute demo, a full 15-minute demo from one of the videos in Ellie's Unreal Engine 5 course on our Patreon right now. You can find that at patreon.com/learnsquared. We have Becca Charbadze saying, so exciting, perfect timing for me. It is a very exciting field. Unreal Engine 5. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I think I accidentally double posted the Patreon link there. Well, we're excited about our Patreon. Becca Charbadze, that's true for a lot of people, right? Like Unreal Engine 5 is a really hot topic, and it's something that a lot of people want to learn, but some people might be a little intimidated by the various tools and all the different things in it. So, it's a really exciting time for us, and we're so excited, Ellie, that you lent your incredible talents to this course.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me.
The Kevin World saying, "Whoa!" I'm making a voice version of the emoji that they posted. Thank you, the Kevin World, for joining. Marco, hola, welcome, Marco. Alec Giuliano, welcome to the show. Luis Longart, Diogo Esteves, welcome guys to the show. Fisale Lafia, welcome to the show. ABCR Games. Hey, Gabriel Bjork Sternstrom, I know you. Welcome to the show. So super happy and proud of you, Ellie, Gabriel's saying. Welcome in.
Thanks so much, Gabriel.
Louise Longart. Ooh, okay. It would be nice if they added subtitles to the course in the same English for those of us who struggle with English a bit. That's some advice. Thank you very much. Glad you mentioned that, Louis, because we will be adding subtitles to the course. So you'll be able to actually toggle those subtitles on or off for the course throughout all of the videos where Ellie gives her instruction. So awesome point, and thank you for mentioning that. Yes, there will be subtitles in the course. Welcome as well to Chavi into the show. And guys, with that, we are going to jump into that live demo. Let's take a look over. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's so much stuff to talk about on today's show. I forgot to mention. Guys, we have an exclusive thing only for people who are watching the live stream. You can get a $15 discount on Ellie's course by using the code UE5Live in the promo field when you check out on Ellie's concept art and UE5 course. I'm going to post that in the chat because you don't want to hear it from me. You want to be able to follow that link and actually copy paste that code. So exclusive only for people who are watching the live stream. This is going to expire once the live stream is over. So if you are interested in concept art and UE5, if you want to check it out for yourself, you still have time. Don't worry, the show is going to go for a little bit, but make sure you jump on that. Make sure you follow that link and make sure you apply the code that is posted in the chat there. That is really exciting. You guys will be able to get a little early bird discount, the double early bird. We've never done that before. All right. Having said that, let's jump into the demo. Ellie, we're jumping over to your screen. Make sure everything's decent. Put away all those pictures that you don't want to show anybody. We have a little a thing at the Learn Squared team that we showed everybody as like a little like, here's how to record your screen and stuff, and the stand-in for like any kind of stuff you don't want to show is just a bunch of pictures of Baby Yoda. I like the idea that Ellie has a bunch of cute pictures of Baby Yoda on screen. Like, no, I don't want to show anyone. Ellie, you put all those away. I can see. We're able to see.
Yes.
This is looking awesome. This is what we're going to be working on today. Ellie's going to be doing a demo of kind of expanding on this. And can you, Ellie, talk a little bit about like, what do you plan to do? Like, to give us a rundown.
Yeah, so this is a scene that I've put together over the I think it's over the last couple of days when I've had a bit of time, and today we're just going to be going from kind of this block out here. I'm going to sculpt a load of the landscape and start to set dress a load of the area, and I'll show you as well kind of how I've set up the lighting. It's quite simple really how I've set up the lighting, but everything that we're doing today is going to be stuff that you can do from the course as well. I'm not using any plugins or anything that you have to buy for this course or anything like that. So it's all just going to be stuff that you'll be going through in the course as well.
It's one of the things that I really think is awesome about the course, and especially in the basics course for people who might want to, the basics course is a more accessible version, accessible place for people to start from. It's going to really be anybody can take it and feel confident with Unreal. And people might not want to make, a commitment where they need to buy like assets and all that stuff. And I think that is obviously that's a big part of doing any kind of 3D work. And I think what's great about the basics course is that you put a focus on like being able to do everything without having to buy anything else. It's just like, I don't need to get any extra stuff. Like a part of the basics challenges. So for example, there's in the basics course, if you want to kind of learn Unreal from scratch, one of the first challenges, I think it actually is the first one, once you learn how to like manipulate basic shapes like squares and rectangles and stuff, just making a scene that has squares and rectangles in it, essentially like a really early block out. And obviously that is just done with the tools in Unreal. But then the next challenge, you learn about assets and lighting. And so, once assets come into the scene, it's a little more intimidating because it's like, oh, well, where am I going to get my assets? And, Ellie is sure to make it so that like what that challenge is where you're actually going to be lighting. You take a scene that is already pre-made and freely available, in the Unreal Marketplace, and you basically extract all the lights from it, remove all the lights, and you light it yourself. So it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about making this entire scene. I don't have to know how to like perfectly, set dress this entire scene yet. All I have to worry about is how to add the lighting onto a pre-existing scene that I can get for free. And I think it's great. Like the way that you've laid out these courses, I think is so friendly to the user, and is like really, really beginner friendly, and is obviously offering a lot of incredible professional insight, and it's great for anybody.
Yeah, that's really good to hear as well. I don't want it to be that people have to buy loads of assets, or they have to, be really frustrated going through realizing that they don't have a certain plugin or something. It's supposed to be that you can just plug and play really, and just start to use Unreal Engine in any way you want really. Like we were saying, you don't have to use it for concept art. You could just use it, as well, just for films or something like that, if that's more what you enjoy, or you're a 3D artist. It's all just to get you prepared using it and confident.
And so we have a great question from Chavi in here. Thank you for the question. Once again, I want to mention that anybody who has, questions about Ellie's techniques, about the course itself, about, Ellie's work, anything that you want to know, make sure you post those in the chat. We are answering questions during the entire show. So thank you, Chavi, for the question. I recently learned UEFN, the Fortnite, Unreal for Fortnite. Do you think it'll be difficult to switch to UE?
So I recently used UEFN for a project, and it's pretty much the same. UEFN, I know, has a cap on textures up to 2K, but Unreal Engine has no cap. And actually, I found it a lot easier to work with Unreal Engine than UEFN, just because UEFN has different, you don't have mega scans in UEFN, so you'll be absolutely fine switching. It's the same UI, UX, it's all the same, so you'll pick it up super fast again.
There you have it. It is it's funny to think about that kind of thing, where it's like a lot of the techniques will carry over, and you might actually end up feeling like, oh wow, like I understand this more. And do you feel like Unreal, you talk about this a little bit in the course, where it's like, based on other software that you've used outside of Unreal, like you kind of came to this conclusion, like, wait, why don't I just use Unreal for the concept art that I'm doing? Do you feel like Unreal just really kind of like was the no-brainer thing, like, oh, this makes a lot more sense, like this is more intuitive, I like this a lot more than using other 3D software?
Yeah, so it was mostly a personal choice really for me. It's just that I was using Blender, as everyone was kind of using Blender at that time, and I was just struggling no end with it, and I just hated using it because I feel that I use ZBrush a lot for my concept art as well, to make models, and I found ZBrush to be very creative, while I found Blender to be a lot more technical. So I would really struggle kind of figuring that out. But with Unreal, it just clicked instantly for me. I just found it much easier. I didn't have to battle so much, and I'd enjoy using it. And also when I started using it for to do videos, or when I'd start telling clients that I was using Unreal Engine and I could take their files, or they could take my files. It kind of just, it opened up so many doors for me. And I think I was very lucky in that regard, that I kind of used it so early, I think, because I think everyone was not really very sure if it would be very good. But with the introduction of Unreal Engine 5 and Lumen and Nanite, it's become a real game changer. Like Unreal Engine 4.27, I think, was the last. That was when you kind of had to bake lights and things like that, and it was still more of a game engine than it is now. You know, now it's a lot more fun to do like concept art in Unreal Engine.
Chavi saying, thanks. You're welcome. Everybody, make sure you post questions like that. It's an excellent question. Starting it off strong here. Chadum has a question here. This is a quick one. First of all, thanks, guys, for this live demo and for the course. I want to say thank you, too. Thank you again, Ellie. It's awesome. It's an awesome course. Are those two knights from the BMS Medieval Pack? Asking about the knights in the main course concept art, I suppose. I'm going to switch over to a shot of them.
Yeah, they are. They are from big, medium, small.
And so that is another thing too, is like in the course, a lot of times showing how to effectively use assets that are provided by packs and things, and you know, manipulate them and make them in interesting ways and stuff. And can you talk about the importance of, you know, being able to pull in stuff like that and create a scene all your own?
Do you mean as in your own models, or ones that you've acquired, or things like that?
Pulling in models that you've acquired, like for somebody who might, you know, they might think of it as daunting to do something in 3D, but not realizing that a lot of the process, especially that you're doing in this course, involves pulling in things that they won't need to actually make from scratch.
Yeah, so using assets that you've downloaded or bought, or however you may have got them, they can be really useful to, especially if you're just looking to, you know, mess around with Unreal or just kind of get used to it. It just lets you have a non-pressurized sort of way to work, so you're not expecting yourself to make models or anything like that. And also you can really populate your scene really quickly. You know, making trees, for example, you know, it's a kind of pointless exercise, really. It's just much easier to use packs where somebody else has done an amazing job for you, and it can just really speed up your workflow. So I use it all the time. I use packs all the time to, you know, for trees, foliage, perhaps buildings. It just depends on the project, and it can just speed it up and take off that pressure.
And it's also interesting to think about, again, you know, some of this stuff is directed more for people who might not know about Unreal, but like when you're pulling in, to be clear, for people who don't know anything about Unreal and who will soon learn about it if they take the basics course, but when you're pulling in assets, that doesn't necessarily mean you just have to use that asset as is. In the basics course, you're teaching all sorts of things about how you can actually manipulate the assets to change the feeling of them, and the texture and the color and the roughness and all different things. And for example, with these two horsemen, you change those guys up in, I believe you change the color of one of their horses, and you change, you know, one of them used to have a flag, and, you know, changing different aspects of the way that they look, which is really useful to know for somebody who, you know, might not be familiar with that concept. You know, thinking about the idea that you can really change these things up and make them into kind of whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you can change all these assets. You know, you can change materials very easily in Unreal as well. And that's, you know, like any 3D software, really, you know, you can change these materials to change the look. You know, you don't have to bring it in as is and kind of just, you know, just kind of dump it into your scene. You can change it as much as you want. It's entirely up to you.
So Lewis Longard saying, I have the basics course. I'm going to start with the basics course. Lewis Longard, thank you so much for picking up the course as the first person in the chat who has so far announced a course purchase. Congratulations. You're starting on an amazing adventure.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope you really enjoy it.
I'm sorry, Ellie. I'm talking over you with my talk about excitedly looking for emojis. I get too into the emoji stuff.
Oh no, it's absolutely fine.
I'm going to flood a bunch of these emojis into the chat. Oh, that one's not a good one. I'm obsessed with these like YouTube exclusive. Have you seen these like YouTube emojis that they have? There's so many good ones.
No.
I always get too into it. Somebody made the bad mistake of giving me the ability to also post things in the chat, and that was a mistake there. Learn Square to just post a bunch of
On their
emojis in the
part.
chat. Yeah. So we have Nino talking about, oh, this is an interesting question. So about the assets, will there be a portion of the course that talks about how to develop the assets if you wanted to make something sort of like specifically from scratch? And so that's something
So-
that, go ahead.
Sorry, Nick, I was just going to say that I will show you how to import them into the engine so you can kind of use your own assets as well. And so that if ever you've created something or you want to use it, you at least know how to bring it in.
Exactly. So it's not necessarily a course about like how to model your own assets and stuff like that, or sculpt things, but it definitely goes into, you know, the workflows needed for using outside assets. So yes, we have Leon saying, this is another interesting question. So I am more of a Blender guy at the moment, but I've heard from a lot of other artists who have used Unreal, they think that it can be time consuming to produce concept art. And I feel that you may disagree with that, Ellie. I'm interested to hear your opinion on, like, you've talked about it a little bit, but sort of the how is the Unreal process? Do you think that it is time consuming? Do you think that it is better? Give me a little idea.
So I think that, you know, with learning software as well, you have to get used to it. You know, right at the beginning, you know, you might be slower than you want to be, like, especially if you've been using Blender all this time. You know, when you switch over to Unreal, it's a different program made by different people. So some things that are in Blender, and it's different in Unreal, that might be frustrating for you. But it's one of those things where when you give it time, you get quicker and quicker. It's just like doing concept art. You know, when you first start, you're really quite slow, you know, or you feel like you're really slow. But as you get more and more experience, you start to become super quick. I think you just need to give yourself that time. And also you start to gain little tricks when you're using Unreal Engine for concept art. You know, you realize that, oh, I won't do that. Next time I'll do this instead, or, oh, I remember I've got that pack that I can use and speed it up and things like that. So I think it's kind of a mixture of a bunch of things, like learning the software and how you use it as well. You know, you get quicker in time.
There you go. Now, guys, what we're talking about on today's show, you can see that we are doing a live demo. Ellie Cooper is here in front of you doing an Unreal Engine 5 demonstration, showing off the techniques that are featured in her brand new course, Concept Art in Unreal Engine 5. That's going to be coming out. I didn't actually say the release date. Course is coming out along with its companion course. Simultaneously, they're coming out on November 10th. So that's real soon, guys. Get excited for that. I don't know that we've ever done an announcement and put the course out so soon after. We're just too excited to talk about this course. We can't wait. So go check that out, guys. You can find that. They're available for pre-order right now, both Ellie's Unreal Engine 5 concept art course and the Unreal Engine 5 basics course, which is focused for beginners to learn Unreal Engine. Both of those courses are available right now on the Learn Squared site. And a fun bonus for people who get the concept art course, you'll get the basics course included with your purchase. So how could it be more exciting than that, guys? Oh, wait a sec. I know how it could be more exciting than that. We have an exclusive for live stream viewers. There's so much stuff to talk about. We have an exclusive for live stream viewers. You can get an extra discount when buying concept art in Unreal Engine 5 by using the discount code UE5LIVE when you check out on the course. That only will work during the duration of today's broadcast. So if you are watching the show and you think to yourself like, oh, I'm sold, I got to get that course, there's never going to be a better time to do it than right now, because this is only a discount for our people watching the stream as it is occurring. And thank you to all of our live stream viewers. It's a little thank you to you guys. Now, we are going to, I see there's a lot of great questions coming in the chat. Thank you guys so much for your incredible questions and for your comments and for people who are buying the courses. Another reminder too, if you do use that discount code and pick up the course, or if you pick up the basics course, make sure you post in the chat. Let us know that you are embarking on this incredible journey with us. We're excited to see what you guys create from these. So we're going to jump in. Let's go for anybody who maybe is just joining the show or who doesn't know about the courses. I think it will be even more useful to see it concisely described in the trailer. So let's go take a look at that course trailer, and we'll be right back with more demo in just a sec.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, you won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at LearnSquared.com.
Guys, concept art in Unreal Engine 5. We're so excited to be showing you this course. As you can see, there's a lot of topics that are covered. It's an incredible piece of work that Ellie has created. You're seeing it on your screen right now. You're going to learn all of the professional workflows required to create an incredible, gorgeous piece of photorealistic concept art like this. And there is another standalone course. As you can see here, Unreal Engine 5 Basics is a course that will teach you everything you need to know to get into Unreal Engine. If you've never known anything about Unreal Engine, if you've never touched the software before, this is going to take you all the way from the beginning to the point where you feel confident using all the various tools available in the software. And it's important for us to mention as well that it's not just going to tell you about these tools, but it is actually going to be an interactive experience where you are creating things as you go, so that you can really learn. As we all know, the best way to learn is through actually getting experience. And this course is going to encourage you to get that experience in ways that are not intimidating and are very accessible for you. So you can either get Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a standalone thing, like if you just want to learn how to use Unreal, if you don't necessarily want to know how to do concept art yet, or if you want to learn how to use Unreal and learn how to do concept art in Unreal, you will actually get the Unreal Engine 5 Basics course as a free bonus as a part of this course. So really, really exciting, this incredible set of companion courses. It's truly a full learning path. If you take the concept art in Unreal Engine 5 course, you are on a path from potentially, if you don't know a single thing about Unreal, if you've never even seen the software before, you will go from that point all the way to being able to create something like this. So it is just really incredible. So we're going to jump back into Ellie's screen here. So once again, we're going to be taking a look at Ellie's demonstration that is occurring during the show. Ellie Cooper, the instructor of the course that you were just looking at in the trailer and that I was just talking about, Ellie is here on today's show doing a live demonstration of the techniques featured in the course. So you can actually see her process and how she goes about creating stuff. As you can see, we are hard at work on the image here. And Ellie, can you sort of take us through a sort of what is the what are you working on now? Like, what's kind of the progress? Tell us about what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm currently just working on a scene that's I just put together, but I started out doing a block out. You can see here that I've used a lot of like very primitive cubes to do a block out, which I do show you in the course, my block out process. And then I right now I'm sculpting the landscape. And here you can see that it's got quite sharp cliffs, and we're going to be replacing these with Megascans assets to make it actually look like a cliff. Just having these sheer drop offs just means that we can kind of set dress it a bit easier rather than having to kind of paint out or hide landscape behind it, and I'll be going back and forth between using Megascans and set dressing and the landscape tool to kind of carve back some of the land if it pokes through some of the assets. But this is exactly the sort of process that I show you in the course as well. So, if at the moment it's kind of all going really quickly, don't worry. We're in the course, we go through it super slow, and I show you exactly how to do it and how to create a massive landscape.
I want to address something in the chat that a couple of people are having a trouble with. So for some people, apparently there's a glitch happening on the website where it displays the course price as the discount price. So the that lower price that some of you guys are seeing, that is the price you will get with the discount code that you can use during the stream. But the actual price of the course as it exists for what people will be able to buy it for tomorrow, that is the price that you're seeing in checkout. So make sure you apply that discount code to make it into the proper price. Yeah, for some reason, I think for some people that that discounted price is appearing as like the price on the course page. But don't worry, that will be your price for the course if you apply the UE5 Live discount. Hopefully that answers your guys' questions. Thank you to everybody who pointed it out. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that. It's just some kind of website glitch. So that was Nathan Bier said, thank you for pointing that out. Lucas as well, Lucas Debe Canton, thank you for that. Leon Renner talking about it as well. Yeah, thank you guys for pointing that out. Our apologies for having, there's something going on with the site, but don't worry, that price that you're seeing, that will be your price when you use the discount code. And that we're hard at work on that. It's going to go away soon either way. So we got a lot of great questions in the chat here. I want to get to everybody's questions. Don't worry, guys. Keep your questions coming. Even if we haven't answered them yet, we're going to be getting to all your questions throughout the show. So, don't worry about that. Now, we have, man, there's a lot of great questions on here. So Chavi has a quick question here talking about in UE, if you want to go over perforce. Is that how you pronounce it? Perforce or perforce?
Yeah, perforce, yeah.
So can you shed, their question is, can you shed some light about that and how it works?
So I've used perforce before with a bit of client work. I absolutely hate it.
Really?
Yeah, because I always feel a lot of pressure with it because it's kind of like a bucket for all the team to submit into. So I always get real anxiety around it because I'm always really worried about going wrong with it or kind of undoing people's work or something. But we don't go into that in the course. That's kind of something that's a little bit kind of out of the basic sort of stuff by using perforce. I haven't used it extensively enough to be able to tell you about how to set it up or something like that, but there are some really great documentation and resources out there for you to use it if you want to in future. And I know that UEFN as well has its own revision control as well. That's really cool. So UEFN is Epic Games's Fortnite editor for Unreal Engine, and they do have a revision control that Epic handles themselves, which is actually, I've used it and it's actually really quite nice. A lot simpler than Perforce, I find.
And thank you to Chavi for the question. Again, everybody's asking like great questions. Thank you so much, guys, for the extreme interest in the course and for all the enthusiasm. Again, to everybody who's excited about buying the course and who's using their discount codes and stuff, make sure you post in the chat if you pick up the course for yourself. We'd love to celebrate you. I will post many emojis. I can promise you that. I love any excuse I can have to post more emojis in the chat. We have, I think we just saw one here. Oh, here we go. Lucas Dubé Canton saying, just bought the course too. Thanks for the live stream. Can't wait for it to release. First of all, congratulations and thank you so much on buying the course. And so asking, how will the basics course be accessible? Will it be automatically added to my course? So that's a great question. And the answer is, so again, for anybody who buys concept art in UE5, the basics course is included as a free bonus. And so the way that that works is that in your concept art in UE5 course, there will be a separate lesson that includes the entirety of the basics course. So you won't have to go to any separate areas or like redeem anything or whatever. Like it'll just be included in your course itself. And that's gonna, again, that is like, if you already know a little bit about Unreal, you can skip some of the basics if you already feel confident, or if you are somebody who has never used Unreal or you just want to go through all the basics, then you can, take that basic stuff and go directly into the rest of the Unreal Engine 5 concept art course. Excellent question. Hopefully, yeah, that answers everything you need to know. A couple of people also asking about the release date. So both of these courses, concept art in UE5 and UE5 basics, are coming out on November 10th. So that's really exciting. They're coming out soon, guys. Get excited. You can pre-order them on the site right now. Both courses you can pre-order at this very moment at learnsquared.com. And again, those will be coming out on November 10th. Good stuff. We have, this is amazing. This is amazing. There's so much learning that is going on here. We have Ellie doing a live demonstration. We have 2 new courses to show off. We have an exclusive discount for people watching the stream. This is a packed show. We have Leon Renner saying thanks for the answer about that earlier question regarding being Unreal amount of time for the process of using Unreal versus Blender. That it is really important. Like, can't agree more with speed increases as much as time is spent in the software. And yeah, that's definitely important to be like build your familiarity and stuff like that. And that's part of what I really love about Ellie's courses, is that the importance of gaining experience. And like, you can know, the way that we like to describe it is that you won't know, it's not that you'll just know about Unreal. Like if you were to just watch a series of videos, you'll potentially know about Unreal. You'll have like textbook knowledge, but you won't necessarily have experience. And what these courses do is they will not only teach you about Unreal, but they'll also give you actual real world experience and the confidence that comes with that, and the kind of like muscle memory that comes with that. So we have, yeah, a bunch of people in the chat. Thank you so much for everybody's enthusiasm. This is a good question from Gabriel Bjork Stjernstrom. Once again, good to see you. Amazing stuff, Ellie. Curious about, with concept art in mind, what do you feel are the shortcomings of the software now? And what do you hope to see being improved or implemented in the future, if anything?
So good question. One of the things is probably something I'm really looking forward to is Fab, which is kind of Epic's integration with Sketchfab, so that you can import Sketchfab models just with a click rather than importing them. That's something that they have on the way, and that's something I'm really looking forward to. So that's one of the things. And something that I found difficult about Unreal Engine is probably I have actually found a solution to it, was scattering foliage. So there is the foliage painter here, which we do go through in the course. And it's super powerful. You can just paint over your landscape, like all of your trees, all of your plants, even static meshes you can use. So for example, if you have characters, you can just paint them everywhere to make a massive scene. But it'd be really cool if there was something that automatically just scattered everything all over the landscape. And there's something that I did find called Dash. It's something that I'm currently experimenting with at the moment. It's a plugin that I use to scatter meshes. It's super powerful. It has more than just scattering. I recommend taking a look at it if you really want to get into Unreal Engine. Like I said, you don't need it for the course at all. It's just something that I've been experimenting with. You know, it's kind of like Blender has a load of plugins that are really cool. And then, you know, this isn't one that Unreal Engine has on its own that's super cool. Something else that I found really cool with Unreal Engine is actually the Epic Marketplace. Every month they do free assets from the marketplace, and you can download them each month, but also you can keep a library, which is really cool, because I hate having to find all of my 3D models on my PC because I don't have pictures of them, if that makes sense. I don't it will just say, you know, like a jumbled load of letters .fbx, and I have no idea what that is, what it looks like. I have to open it up. But Epic Marketplace just keeps your whole library, you know, everything that you have downloaded from them. You can just add with a click to your project. You know, it's that simple. You don't have to import or anything like that. You can just add to your project. It's really, really cool.
Epic is like really generous with giving away free stuff. They do it with
Yeah.
Unreal. They do it with in their game store too. Like they like to give things away for free. That's pretty cool of them. Great answer though,
Yeah.
and thank you very much, Gabriel, for the excellent question. We have just a bunch of people asking great stuff. I think that the thing that's really exciting because like being able to create concept art that looks so cool in this kind of a workflow, like the thing that's cool about Unreal to me is like how quickly you can just sort of go, something can become photorealistic with Unreal, especially in Unreal Engine 5. The amount of tools that you have, the amount of the ways that you can photograph and portray those things, and the types of post-processing and stuff, and like it in the course, it's kind of like you go from the block out to, and you're doing it right here too, where it's like you're going from having a block out to stuff starting to literally look like, just starting to look photorealistic. Like it is a very fast sort of ramp up process to that kind of stuff, versus like especially versus like traditional painting and things like that for concept art. So it's really exciting, like for somebody who might be coming into this as a total beginner, you know, being able to see not only you teaching a course about like how to use the basics and things like that, but also being able to like see how quick it is possible to create something, you know, all the way to its finished state, that has to be pretty incredible.
Yeah, no, it is really cool how quickly you can get something looking super realistic in Unreal, and just how quickly it gets everything in, and nothing is lagging. I don't have to wait for you know, fireflies to clear up or anything like that, which is really cool. It just means you can just be super quick. You know, there are you know, there is path tracing and Lumen with Unreal Engine. So think of path tracing and Lumen are very, very close together now. They render pretty much near the same, super powerful. But the way to think of it is Lumen is like think of it like Eevee for Blender, but it's, if Eevee was much closer to Cycles. So it's kind of like Cycles 0.5, if that makes sense. And then path tracing is obviously like Cycles, but path tracing is super quick as well. It renders so fast and you can still use it at the same time. But, Lumen is just an absolute game changer. You can render out a super, super realistic thing in just real time using Lumen.
And so there was a question, I'm trying to find it here. Oh, from Diogo Esteves talking about using Lumen or path tracing. Do you go over them? Can you talk about how they play into the course?
Yes. So for the course, we use Lumen because Lumen is a really big part of using Unreal Engine. And you need to get used to using Lumen at the beginning because ray tracing is just so for example, if I show you, it's just clicking this and then it just will render your image in part like using Path Tracer. But Lumen, when you're working like this, you'll be working using Lumen rather than path tracing 90% of the time, and getting super comfortable in Lumen means that when you get to path tracing, it's much easier. You need to understand Lumen before you get to path tracing. And that's my opinion on using why we use Lumen in the course.
There you go. Diogo Esteves, thank you very much for your question. And perfectly integrated. It's almost like we planned all this. Ellie brought us right into that question. Again, everybody's questions, thank you so much. Leon is asking about render passes, like CryptoMate, ZDepth. What's kind of your process with that?
Yes, so there is you can use ZDepth as well with Unreal Engine, so you can get that. And then clown passes is a bit difficult to get in Unreal Engine. I'm not going to lie on that one. That is something like back to Gabriel's question that I wish we could have, that you could kind of just click it out and have a really simple clown pass. But there is a way to kind of get around it using some of the passes that you get here. So there's a lot of passes here that you can use to get out some material clown passes and things like that you can kind of combine, but there is no one clown pass that you can render out. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, in future somebody makes a plugin like that.
And thank you, Leon, for the excellent question. We had so many good questions. It's not a given that if you do a live broadcast on the internet that everybody is going to be so nice and have such great input and be so positive. And I just want to say a big thanks to everybody who is a part of our Learn Squared community for being so civil and so interested and so like eloquent, and everybody always has great questions and great input and great positivity, which is something that we see throughout our community, not only on the streams, but also, in like people's homework and just the community in general. Everybody's so positive, and especially in a world like, like creating art, sometimes it can be very competitive. It oftentimes is very competitive, and it's nice to see like such a positive community of people within that. So give everybody on this who's watching the stream, give yourself a nice pat on the back. You guys are awesome. For anybody who's just joining the show, what we're doing here is a live demonstration. Ellie Cooper is live demonstrating the techniques that are featured in her brand new course, Concept Art in Unreal Engine 5. We're going to cut over and take a look at the amazing artwork that was created during this course. This is a course all about using Unreal Engine 5 in order to create concept art for yourself. And Ellie is an absolute master at the craft, as you can see here. She also teaches a second course. There is a standalone course as well that's available if you just want to learn how to use Unreal Engine 5 in general. And this one can apply to whatever you want to eventually do in the field later. So whether you want to do stuff for games or films or TV or whatever, Unreal Engine 5 Basics is going to help you to learn all of the tools that you need to kind of like go forth out into the world and create awesome stuff. And what's even more fun about that is that if you do want to eventually create concept art using UE5, concept art in UE5 includes UE5 Basics. So that's a nice little bonus for people who are out there who want to really do that full learning path, all the way from knowing nothing to knowing how to make this. That's an incredible thought. Think about that for a second. And guys, I think the best way to talk a bit more about that is to take a look at that course trailer. So just to remind you before we jump back into the course trailer, we have an exclusive discount exclusively for our live stream viewers. You can get an extra $15 discount on the concept art in Unreal Engine 5 course by using the discount code UE5Live. You'll find that pasted into the chat there, so you can copy paste the discount code for yourself. Use that at checkout to get an extra $15 off only during the events of the live stream. So that's a limited, very limited time offer. All right, guys, we're going to jump back into that course trailer. Post your questions in the chat. Keep that enthusiasm coming. If you get a copy of the course for yourself, make sure you let us know in the chat. We're going to be celebrating everybody we see getting a copy of the course in there. Let's take a look at concept art in Unreal Engine 5.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, you won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at LearnSquared.com.
Guys, concept art in Unreal Engine 5. You just saw the trailer again there. This is an incredible set of courses in which you can either go from knowing absolutely nothing about Unreal Engine all the way to being able to create highly detailed concept art like this, or if you just want to learn about Unreal Engine and you don't need to know about concept art, then you can just take Ellie's standalone Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, which is accessible for all skill levels. It'll either help you brush up on Unreal Engine stuff that you maybe want to learn a little bit more about, or if you know nothing about Unreal Engine, it will get you totally comfortable with the basics of the software, not only through learning about things, but also through interactive challenges. And we've talked a little bit about these challenges in the Unreal Engine 5 Basics course already, but I think it's important to really go into a little bit more detail about that. So in the Basics course, Ellie, would you be able to talk a little bit about kind of what is the objective of the Basics course, and what were you going for, and what are some of the tools that you wanted to make sure that people knew about with Unreal Engine 5 Basics?
Yeah, so Unreal Engine Basics is kind of what it says on the tin. We're just I'm teaching you the absolute basics of Unreal Engine so that you can get super confident in it. You know, I teach you how to use how to kind of navigate around Unreal Engine, how to kind of get comfortable in it, how to add cameras, how to add a metahuman, and how to pose a metahuman. That's such a big question I get all the time, is how on earth do you pose a metahuman? I show you how to do that, and I show you how to pose the face and everything else. And then, you know, I show you all sorts, such as creating landscapes, painting foliage, absolutely everything that you need to start your journey in Unreal Engine. And then to, you know, so that you can take what you've learned in the basics and just take it as far as you want to go. You know, you can run at that point doing concept art, films, make, perhaps you want to make your own game, you can use it for absolutely anything. That's what's super cool about this basics course, is it's for absolutely everyone.
There you go. And so again, if you guys want to learn the basics and also learn how to do concept art using UE5, then if you pick up concept art in Unreal Engine 5, it includes that basics course Ellie created as a free bonus. Or if you do want to go into a different field, or you don't need to know about concept art, but you do want to learn the basics, you can pick up the basics course as its own thing and really go from not knowing anything to feeling comfortable in the software. And again, the keyword on really like feeling comfortable with Unreal Engine, that's something that somebody who's never touched it before probably doesn't think is possible, where it's like, oh, like I there's too many tools, like I don't really know what's going on, but this is going to really, in a very accessible way, like bit by bit, kind of help to build up your confidence and your competence in that software, so that you can really feel like you can take on larger projects without a problem. So let's jump back into that live demo. And I want to get to a couple of these questions because we have some incredible questions in the chat. A lot of people showing so much enthusiasm. Thank you, guys. So Emmanuel Essay saying, can you talk a little bit about how to use Unreal to integrate 3D elements into a 2D matte painting? I've been struggling with this for a while. And so that is, you might be talking about it from a different angle, but I do want to just throw out there that part of this course does involve matte painting. There's actually, or rather involve paint over stuff. So there is a lot of 2D discipline involved in the course. There's a lesson that focuses on it. Like if you want to get that extra bit out of your renders, you can jump into that paint over stage and do that. So it will go over 2D paint over techniques, but I will throw it to you, Ellie, specifically for what Emmanuel's question was about, which is integrating 3D elements into a 2D matte painting using Unreal.
Yeah, so with the course, we kind of do it where we do a lot of 3D and then we render it all out and take it into Photoshop and then overpaint it in Unreal Engine. So I'm not sure if you're meaning that you're looking at having you have a matte painting already and you're using Unreal Engine to kind of render out those extra little bits. But what I do in the course, you'll be able to apply to that workflow if you're doing it, whether you've already got 2D painting and you're adding 3D on top of it, or whether you want to do a 3D image and then overpaint it in 2D. You can kind of apply it to both.
Yeah, I think that that discipline is pretty much covered in the course. Like there's a large amount of the course that, because the course is about creating concept art that is in UE5. And so there is a portion where you, Ellie, in the course, you're like putting out a cinematic of the actual scene that you created in UE5. That's also in the trailer where it sort of zooms through the scene that Ellie's created. But after that stage, there is also a portion about if you want to use, the concept art you've created in UE5 and use that to create an even better piece of like 2D concept art that's like fully, adding paint over elements and adding photo bash elements and, really like fine tuning all of the little pieces of, color balance and contrast and everything. And, there certainly is a 2D aspect that is covered in the course. Like it's not necessary for everyone. Like you can totally do the course and create something that is just using UE5, or you can go into that stage and do the extra paint over stuff. That's something that Ellie talks about in the course as well, is like the level of paint over that somebody's going to want to use it'll vary, in a case-by-case basis. And so what we're looking at here are a bunch of the pieces of concept art that Ellie has created outside the course, like all different kinds of concept images, things that are stills and that do incorporate paint over elements. And some of these are purely in UE5 without paint over elements. So, you can, for people who are on either side of that fence, or who want to do more paint over, or who want to do more, pure Unreal Engine stuff, either way, totally is totally covered in this course. So we're going to jump back into Ellie's feed here. We have TK with a question here. So, and this is an excellent question, and that was also, I want to say that was an excellent question before as well. So thank you. TK saying, I'm wondering, where is this workflow mostly used for you, Ellie? Is it in a production pipeline in games and film? So I'll throw that part of the question to you first. Where does your workflow come the most in handy for you, Ellie?
So I use it in film and games. I use it in both. So with film, it's super useful because I can pretty much like get a director in. Like, for example, if I have this, I can pretty much show them around the entire scene and do different camera angles, especially if it's virtual production as well. I've been involved in that side of it as well now, helping with how we can kind of integrate our concept art into onto the actual screen and how we can do that. That's super cool, being able to do that scene like pretty much near your concept art go onto the VP screen. So that's super cool. And then of course with games, I reckon games has had the biggest impact with this, because a lot of the time, especially at Athena Productions, where I work, it's a concept art house. We do a lot of work for game studios. They'll give us their block outs. So for example, if anyone's seen Blocktober, which is where game devs, they share their block outs of their games where it started, we might get that from a client, where people that join the stream early they might have seen all these blocks all around this landscape. We'll get something like that and we replace it, and then we'll hand back the entire level for them, and they'll just take that and run with it, and that's super cool. And I've also been involved in doing some pitches for clients where we have pitched a level for them and moved the camera for them through the level, which has just been absolutely insane. We've not only just done the concept art, but also a moving concept art image. It's really, really cool. It's just insane the amount of things that you can do and doors that it could open up as well. It's really fun.
Yeah, like the amount of real world applications for Unreal has, like the growth of this piece of software is pretty incredible to think about over the years, like what it's gone from and where it has ended up, and all of the different professional applications that it has. It's pretty amazing, and it just goes to show, like, all these things Ellie's talking about, like how useful of a skill set this is to have for all different fields and all different kinds of things. And to address the second part of TK's question, saying, do you think this would be a good skill to have for an entry level position? Much appreciated.
So
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Nick. I was just going to say that for entry level, I think that you should, definitely play around with different softwares and see what you love. Not everything, not one size fits all. Not everybody loves to use ZBrush, for example. Some people, it's their it's like Marmite, they either love it or hate it because of the UI. You should experiment with different softwares and see what you like. But Unreal Engine, like I've been saying, is super powerful and I really enjoy it. And I think, it's a good skill for concept artists to always be continually exploring other paths that they can go into. Could you somehow integrate more, 3D into your work? Could you have a moving camera, things like that, so that you're constantly evolving your skills and constantly leveling up that side of it? So I think definitely give it a play and see what, if you like it. I don't think it's an absolute requirement that you have to know, a specific software to get to get a job in the industry. You have to know this very specific software. I mean, obviously Photoshop's different, but with 3D softwares, you kind of got a pick of the bunch. So experiment with it, see if you really enjoy it. It's supposed to be fun at the end of the day. You're not supposed to kind of, punish yourself by using softwares that you hate, like I didn't get along with Blender. Just see if you like it, see if you enjoy it, but it's not an entry level requirement by any means to know Unreal Engine only.
And yeah, I think that also an important thing to think about is that if you're going for an entry level position, or if you want to kind of like build up your potential for clients that you would work with in the future, or if you've never worked in the industry before and you're just trying to get hired anywhere, like learning how to effectively use Unreal to create concept art, or just how to use these workflows, is going to help you to build a great portfolio of work, which can help you to then, actually get jobs. And we've had, not only have we had many students who have literally gotten hired based on the work that they either created in a Learn Squared course or learned how to do in a Learn Squared course. We've actually had instructors who have taught our courses who years ago actually got into the industry because of work that they did in a Learn Squared course. So it is definitely really useful to, like, if you were trying to get hired into the industry, to make sure that you're putting out work, that is initiated by you, that is just great looking work. And that's something that's actually covered as well in the basics course. Actually, there's like a sort of like a conclusion lesson that goes over all different things about like where to go from here and how to further your knowledge in different fields regarding Unreal and things like that. And part of that is also, it helps you to like, here's how to take on personal work and try to make sure that you don't bite off more than you can chew, and sort of take on things like incrementally larger so that you build up your confidence. And here's how to like set up an ArtStation page, and things like that that'll really help you to kind of like become more of an Unreal user, and potentially become like an Unreal professional, a professional who is using this software to create things. So hopefully that answers your question. I think that yeah, it is a pretty incredible workflow, and it is a pretty incredible skill set to have.
Yeah, for sure. I have seen a lot more like jobs and clients out there that when you tell them that Unreal Engine, they sit up a bit more, especially game devs and film crews. I've seen them be a lot more interested because it suddenly opens up a really interesting side for them, and I think that's really worth considering. The other day I only just saw a job for an Unreal Engine concept artist, and there's really not many people out there that know Unreal Engine super well. So, there is that demand that's starting to come for Unreal Engine artists, concept artists. It's interesting that it's starting to kind of become an interesting, thing for jobs and clients and things like that.
So we have Chavi saying thank you for the answer about the Perforce and all of the things that you answered about that. Lucas saying thank you for taking the time to answer. Thanks, Ellie, for taking the time to answer all these questions and do a live demo at the same time. That's really hard. Can we all give Ellie just give a round of applause at your computer screen there for Ellie doing the double duty here. That is awesome. Nice simple question here from Armani Tsunami saying, can you go over your computer specs?
Yes, of course I can. So I've actually got them on my phone. Let me just quickly get them. I'll kind of give them all briefly here. So for my processor, I have the Intel Core i9. And for my graphics card, I have an RTX 3080. And for my memory, I have the Corsair Vengeance, LPX, 64 gigabyte for that one. And that's kind of what I use primarily for this PC. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. I get that one a lot, so that's why I have it on my phone.
I like that idea. You got it ready.
Yeah, because I can't remember it, because I tell people I have like a 1080 all the time, and I definitely do not have a 1080 any, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those things that I have to note down.
I think I'm going to steal that idea actually, because I can never remember my computer specs anymore. It's like,
Yeah,
there was a
too
time
difficult.
when I kept up with everything and I like knew everything that I had all the time and I was like following all the newest stuff. But now I'm just like,
Mm.
I start thinking about stuff that I had like, 5 or 10 years ago. And it's like, wait, that's not what I have in my computer anymore. Um,
Yeah, or actually, I have a 4090 now. Sorry, I forgot, because I swapped it out.
there you go. It's
Yep, forgot already.
But yeah, it's another interesting thing just to build on that question. And great question, Armani Tsunami. I think another thing to build on that too is like, can you talk a little bit about like, let's say somebody who has a less powerful machine, how forgiving is Unreal as a piece of software for somebody who is maybe using a computer that's a little bit less cutting edge?
Yeah, so it is actually incredibly forgiving. To different people's PCs, different specs. So there is little things that you can do to try and improve it as well, like with all softwares. But Unreal Engine is it's just been so well put together that it just handles everything so beautifully, that you have LODs, which is level of detail, which is when you get further away. For example, if you have a tree in the very far distance, that will it will kind of diminish the detail so that your PC better handles it while you're zooming around the scene. But when you render, it will shove it all the way up to, or all the way down to LOD 1 or 0, depending on what you have. So it will kind of make sure that the detail goes up, but it will do really clever little things to make sure that your PC can stay running while you use your scene. Of course, if you have 8K textures or 16K textures absolutely everywhere, your PC, no matter how powerful it is, will tank at some point. It will struggle, but it will try and keep going as best as it can. Some of the scenes, like the scene that I created for the course, the concept art side of the course, was pretty much 8K textures throughout the entire scene, and it didn't lag once. And it's a massive scene. As you've seen, it's really, really big, and your PC will handle it. And like I said, with lower specs, you can do clever things, so for example, with the temple I have here, you could use 4 to 8K textures here, but as you go further off into the far distance, you could use 2K textures to try and save yourself. And I do little tricks in the course as well, where I show you where I have really distant trees, and I use cones, because you don't need to use, super high res trees if they're, super far back, say over here, and there's other trees in the middle. You can just use cones to try and optimize your scene. And I think that's just a really good habit to get into, no matter what the specs are of your PC. It's just a good habit to get into so that you can keep pushing your scene as far as you can without, having to worry about trying to replace all the 8K textures that are right far back or anything like that. It depends on the size of your scene as well. I hope that answers the question for you.
And thank you again for the question, Armani Tsunami. That's a good question. I think a lot of people are would be wondering that, but hopefully it's a nice thing to know that you really don't need to have a machine that is as crazy as the one that Ellie's working on. Guys, the course that we're talking about here is concept art in Unreal Engine 5. This is a brand new course coming to Learn Squared next week on November 10th. It's going to be dropping on November 10th simultaneously with its companion course, Unreal Engine 5 Basics. Both of those are coming to the Learn Squared site very soon. So go pick it up for yourself at learnsquared.com. I want to mention once again as well that exclusively for people who are watching the live stream and only during the events of the live stream, so make sure you jump on this deal, guys. We have an exclusive discount for people who are viewing the live stream right now. You can get an extra $15 off the Concept Art in UE5 course if you use the code UE5Live, one big word, all caps, in at checkout. So make sure you do that. You can see the code is actually in the chat as well, so you'll be able to copy paste that just to be sure that you got it right. Go check that out if you are picking up the course for yourself, make sure you jump on that deal. That's an exclusive. We've never done that before in a live stream, so we're really excited about that. Now, let's go take a look at that course trailer real quick, and we'll be right back with more of the demonstration. I should also mention that what you're seeing here on screen is actually a live demo from Ellie showing off the techniques featured in the course. So this is like not pre-recorded. It's not planned out or whatever, in the sense that I don't know what the final product looks like. This is all being done in front of your eyes. So we're all seeing this for the first time, and it is just incredible to see. So show some love for Ellie, and let's go take a look at that course trailer.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, you won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at LearnSquared.com.
Guys, you just saw it there. Concept art in Unreal Engine 5 is available for pre-order now on the Learn Squared site, along with its companion course, Unreal Engine 5 Basics. You can, if you want to learn the full learning path all the way, like if you're an absolute beginner, for example, you can go from knowing nothing about Unreal Engine 5 all the way to creating concept art like this. Or, of course, if you're more experienced, you don't need a lot of the earlier tutorial stuff, but this course includes, for anybody who might need it, concept art in Unreal Engine 5 includes the full Unreal Engine 5 Basics course along with it. So you will be able to learn that entire learning path all the way from zero up to this. Now, of course, if you don't need to know about concept art, but you just want to learn Unreal, Ellie is also, we also have the Unreal Engine 5 Basics course as a standalone for anybody who just wants to know about Unreal and maybe wants to go into a different discipline. So for whoever you are, whatever your skill level is, whatever your interest level or field of interest is, we have something for you. It's pretty amazing. Ellie Cooper is here live doing a demonstration of her techniques featured in the course. So that's really exciting. I do want to answer a question in the chat before we jump back in. We have a lot of excellent questions, and to everybody whose question came before this, don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. But excellent question from Fasale Lafia saying, question, is there a sale for Black Friday? So that's a good question. We always have a big old Black Friday blowout at Learn Squared, and there will be a sale for Black Friday on the Learn Squared site, but the price that you see for concept art in Unreal Engine 5 and the price you see for Unreal Engine 5 Basics is already at the Black Friday sale. So it will not go, you can rest assured the price will not go any lower than this. You are free to, with a clear mind and a clear conscience, you can buy the course now, and the Black Friday sale is already in effect for these courses. So I hope that answers your question. That's a great question that I'm sure a lot of people were wondering about. So thank you for asking it. So we're going to jump back into Ellie's screen now and take a look at the progress of our live demonstration that is happening on the show. We're back in it. We're back looking at the screen. And I want to jump into some more of these questions. We have some really, just a lot of great questions. Danditron Lives, I know Danditron Lives, welcome, saying, so excited for the course. Ellie, and this is kind of related to the previous one, how large can you possibly make scenes in UE5 without melting your machine?
My specific PC, you get pretty, yeah, you can go pretty massive. It's hard to kind of, so one thing that I did a while back to push my PC was I did a ship that was kind of going through a like a forgotten sort of city, and that was about 120 million tries, and that was animated cinematic, and that just ran on my PC just absolutely fine, like no lagging, no nothing. It just rendered it out within 2 minutes. That's just how quick it is. It doesn't take 4 hours or anything like that to render. It just takes 2 minutes. It's just super quick.
Unreal Engine 5 really is an incredible piece of, of software. The optimization in effect is pretty great. And, you know, that is a concern for a lot of people, as Armani Tsunami was mentioning about the computer specs. Like, not everybody has the most cutting edge PC, but there are a lot of people out there who want to know how to use Unreal. And I think that's so great that, first of all, the accessibility of the software in the first place, but on top of that, the way that you really can use it on a lot of machines and have it be very stable.
Yeah, and it's just a feat of engineering, really. Just how amazing it is at optimizing and things like that. It's great. Like even on PCs, like you were saying, that aren't super high spec, it still handles it incredibly well.
Casalia Lafia has another comment saying, "Bye bye Blender, at least for rendering." Love it. We have God of Gods as well. A great question as well from God of Gods saying, I can do modeling, but I kind of hate it because there's stuff already available. So is it bad to not model anything on my own? And I can say that that is something that is covered in the course, which is to say, like, how to effectively use pre-built assets and stuff like that. So that is a major aspect of the course, is like utilizing assets that are pre-existing to make a scene that is all your own and not really have to model your own stuff. So I guess I'll leave it to Ellie to answer the question of, is it bad to not model anything on my own? But yeah, I think that that is definitely, you are going to feel right at home here if you don't want to model anything.
Yeah, so you don't have to model anything, especially for this course. You know, you really don't have to model anything. But if you're a concept artist or 3D artist, there will come a time, more for concept artists, I suppose, when you will have to model your own assets. You know, for example, if somebody comes to you and says to you, I want you to model a spaceship, you know, I want you to concept a spaceship out for me, you're not going to be able to kind of get away with modeling nothing. You know, you could use like kit bash stuff to try and speed up your workflow. I'm a big fan of kind of doing both techniques as much as I can. But you probably will have to model something. But I'm a big advocate for trying to kind of kit bash as much as you can. You know, like I was saying earlier, you don't need to create every tree in your scene. You know, why bother? You know, it's just so much easier to just use an asset that you already have. You know, you don't need to reinvent the wheel with trees or rocks. You know, that's what Megascans is for. And it's, you know, it's definitely not a sin or a bad thing to use 3D assets that you found elsewhere. So, you know, don't be worried about that, especially in this course.
And there you go, God of Gods. You will again, you'll feel right at home in this course. I think that it gives you a lot of great workflows and strategies and stuff, if you don't want to be modeling everything, like you can do a lot of great stuff without that. And so Xavi, you've talked about this a little bit, Ellie, but I want to hear more sort of about this. Xavi saying, starting with gray boxing first or placing assets directly, which approach do you think is better for creating concept art? And I would expand on that by also saying, like, are there any particular pieces of concept art or things where you feel like you need to place the assets for a particular, element right out of the gate, as opposed to doing it with a gray box blockout?
So 90% of the time I am gray boxing. I gray box out absolute everything because it's just a super quick, low pressure sort of way that you can just experiment with your composition. You can take a look at it. You don't have to model everything or, get super married to the composition that you might have. It's kind of like doing black and white sketches. It's a really good technique to do that way. But for example, for this image, this kind of demo that I'm doing here, when I first started, I used a lot of gray box, but I put this temple in right away because I knew I was going to have that temple in there. For example, if you had a huge tree here, or if you knew it was going to be a shrine or something like that, and you already have a model, you can put it in there. But I think if you are modeling what you're doing, I think you should find the composition first and then add in your, or make your 3D asset. Making 3D assets is a really time consuming thing to do. So you got to be sure that the composition you're going for is the one that is going to work for your model. When you're modeling your asset, like for example, for this, if I know it's going to be facing this way and I'm not moving my camera, I don't need to model the back. I could just put in something really plain, like a load of cubes or something like that. It just kind of informs you of how much you need to do. It's kind of cutting time as much as you can. But I always use gray boxing. I just think it's a great technique. And it can be really fun as well to do. It's like kind of an even easier sketching method than kind of doing black and white sketches.
Gray boxing is one degree of Kevin Bacon away from playing with Legos. So
yeah, and it's great.
yeah, it is pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, I like the sketching comparison. Like, the reason that you do a rough sketch before you do like a portrait of a person is so that you don't do like a zillion little details of like their eye and it looks perfect, but then you realize you put it in the wrong spot or something. Like, it's important to know the placement and the feel and the composition before you are working with like finalized stuff a lot of times, especially if that stuff, maybe if you have a less powerful machine and especially if it's a concern about like performance or something, then yeah, that becomes even more important. We have a few. Oh, Armani saying, fine, you sold me, just bought the course. Wow, awesome. That's really cool to hear, and hopefully you enjoyed hearing that those answers before. Fine, you sold me. I love that. We're salespeople now, Ellie.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna perfect my sales pitch. I'm gonna be like a used car salesman, but for courses, where it's like, what do I have to do to put you into this new course? I'm gonna put a bunch of emojis there. Congratulations on starting your journey to Armani Tsunami, and thank you so much for picking up the course. That is amazing. We have Lucas Dubé getting some claps in there for Armani. Love to see the support in there. That is really cool. So we have Cass G saying, do you still paint over Unreal Engine environments in Photoshop, or is it all done in Unreal Engine? And I'll start to answer that and then throw it to Ellie afterwards. But so the course covers both. In the course, you will make a final cinematic of your concept art, kind of zooming through the scene like you saw in the course trailer. And that is done fully in Unreal. Unreal is the final element in that. There is no paint over aspect. But then there is another lesson of the course that helps you to, if you want to do a bunch of paint over stuff on top of your Unreal render for a still image, you can, she shows you how to go into Photoshop. And for anybody who's not familiar with Photoshop, there's even like sort of a crash course on all the tools that you'll need within Photoshop. And then how to, incorporate photo bash elements and, change the color balance and the lighting of things, within Photoshop. So as an answer to your question, both of those disciplines are covered in the course, whether you want to use a little bit of paint over, a lot of paint over, or no paint over at all, and just have it be all in Unreal. All of those are covered. It's really more of a personal preference of like how much finish do you want to have in the software, in the Unreal software, versus, maybe there are certain things where you feel like I can get this close enough in Unreal and then I'll just replace it with a photo bash element later. A lot of it is kind of the stuff like Ellie was talking about with like, how much time do you want to spend, on this particular thing versus something else. So I guess I kind of answered a lot of that question, but I'll throw that to you, Ellie. What's your opinion about like paint over versus doing everything in software? How much paint over do you do, and how much do you do in software?
Yeah, so it's really up to you how much you do in software or in 3D versus overpainting. People are different. I've seen some artists that use 90% 3D and then they just do 10% paint over, or people where they use like 10% 3D. They'll just paint loads of it or photo bash loads of it. It's really up to you. And I probably do about 90% in Unreal Engine now, and then a little bit of paint over. Sometimes I do none at all. So I did my Unreal Engine Epic Games Fellowship for Unreal Engine back in January this year. Wow, this year's gone super fast. And I did an entirely 3D scene in that, where I did no overpainting. I just purely rendered it out. And that just had tons and tons of items in there. And the aim for that was just to not touch Photoshop whatsoever. And that really opened my eyes to how much I could use Unreal Engine and not have to render out or not overpaint some of the stuff that I have in there. It depends on you, really. It's personal preference. And also sometimes it depends on what you're doing. Sometimes you might find it actually easier and quicker to paint in, I don't know, a dirt mask, for example, in Photoshop. It's up to you, really. There's no right or wrong answer, really.
And there you go. It's I think the important thing, no matter which side of the fence you're on regarding paint overs, the important thing is that in this course you will learn both techniques so that you can really customize that and make that into whatever you want for the art that you're creating. It'll make you confident whether you're trying to create something photorealistic. I mean, you guys saw the and we'll probably show the trailer again before the end of the show, but like in the trailer, that moving shot where it moves through the scene, of course, that is a cinematic that is rendered in Unreal, and that already looks photorealistic. So like, the paint over can, you will be able to create something if you want to that is, totally shippable in just using Unreal. Or if you want to do paint over stuff, then you can, you'll learn a whole bunch of techniques in order to utilize that as well. So this is another really good question from David. And I just want to say too that, Cass G, that was an excellent question. Thank you for that question. David saying, I'm using Unreal Engine for concept art, and I'm always questioning how much is too much 3D art. I mean, why or when do you go heavier on modeling, and when do you just block it out and call it done? So some of this ties into what we were just talking about, and also what we were talking about earlier about modeling. Can you talk about that, Ellie, of like, where do you draw the line in terms of, modeling and blocking out and figuring out pretty much like what you need for a project?
Yeah, so trying to decide how much to to do can be a really tricky one, because sometimes you feel like you might be doing a bit too much, or sometimes it might feel a bit too easy because you're kind of using models that you haven't made, and it's a little bit confusing. But it's one of those questions that only you will know. I mean, sometimes doing 100% 3D when you upload it to ArtStation, for example, it looks really 3D, if that makes sense. It doesn't look painterly anymore. It doesn't look like you've painted it or anything like that. And that's sometimes where taking it into Photoshop can help, that you can kind of soften edges and make them a little bit more painterly, or perhaps you can change the color balance or color grading or things like that in it. And I think that's kind of a question that only you will know is how is too much, if you're really, for example, if you're trying to get the perfect cloud in 3D, sometimes that's a bit of a sink of time, a sink of your time. You're better to just go and overpaint that in Photoshop because it's quicker. At the end of the day, you need to be thinking about speed. What's going to get you there quickest. We all have moved into using 3D because it gets us the angle we want quicker, the lighting we want quicker, the perspective we want quicker, all these other bits and pieces that we can now get super quickly. But sometimes using 3D can be a bit of a hindrance, especially, like I said, with, for example, if you were doing clouds, like if you wanted to paint an entire sky, or do an entire sky in Unreal Engine, for example, and you wanted clouds to be in a really specific area, sometimes that's just easier to do in Photoshop, and only you will know when that kind of comes to pass, really. It's a bit of a tough question. I get what you mean. Sometimes it feels like you're using 3D too much, and you're not quite sure whether you should be moving into Photoshop or not yet, but follow your gut with that sort of thing and you won't go far wrong.
There you have it. And again, it's an excellent question, and it's a concern that I think that a lot of people share. So thank you for your question, David. Again, everybody is asking really good questions. Thank you guys for your great questions on the show. I'm always pleasantly surprised by the Learn Squared audience. Thank you guys. So we have Cass G saying, definitely purchasing. I barely use Unreal Engine, but I want to explore more workflows. And first of all, thank you so much for your show of support and for your interest in the course. Thank you, Cass G. And yeah, that is a great mindset to be thinking about, is like, I want to try and explore some of these other workflows and really see how this can be something that's valuable to me. Like doing a course like this is really, in a lot of ways, it's an investment, right? Because you're adding something to your toolkit, to something that you can use if you need to. It might become like your new favorite thing, or it might just become something that you are able to do if you had to. And either of those things makes it really, really valuable, whether in your professional or personal artwork workflow. And so, yeah, it's to everybody who's taking this concept art in UE5 course, to everybody who's taking the concept art, or rather the Unreal Engine 5 basics course, I think that you're doing something great for yourself. You're really putting yourself out there and committing to learning how to do to use a new skill, and to really create things that you may not have been able to create before. So to everybody who's going into these journeys, whatever your skill level, I think that you should really be proud of the step that you're taking and the things that you're doing for yourself. I think that you will certainly be thanking yourself later for making that leap. It's tough, to do that kind of thing, and to kind of like make a commitment like that. And yeah, again, amazing to see how many people are so enthusiastic, and especially in a lot of Learn Squared courses, many people who say that it was their first time doing these workflows or doing the things that our instructors are teaching. Like the incredible work that they're creating by the end of the course is just amazing. So yeah, just to go back to Ellie's some of the artwork that Ellie's created, we're going to look at a few of the pictures that she's created in her career, and using this Unreal Engine 5 concept art workflow. So David has another great question, Ellie. Do you explain to clients that you're doing concepts, or rather that you're creating your concepts in UE5, and that because of that, that you're going to take some, a bit of extra time to make it look, exactly the way it needs to look, and that you are also offering the ability to do a 3D blockout or animatic of that concept?
Yeah, so with clients, I I will mention it quite a lot, especially if they use it in their studios, or if they, especially like films and things like that, it's kind of known. But game studios, they might use different engines, they might have their own proprietary software and things like that. So I will always mention it to clients, and I'll normally say to them that we use it or I use it, for example, as the cherry on top. I still have concept art traditional skills, where I'll overpaint or this, that, and the other, but Unreal Engine is the cherry on top that I can take your block out and I can give you it back, and you can have the 2D image, you can have a cinematic, and you can have a level as well, and all those three together, people love it, because they get all that in one. And sometimes clients will give you extra time if you say to them, I can also do you a cinematic of this, and it'll be an extra day, or it'll be half a day, or this, that, and the other. It depends on the client. Sometimes it can be really quick and you'll just surprise them with it. It's a really good way to surprise and shock people as well, that you've gone that extra mile. But it is always something I sell to clients if I know they're going to be interested in it. And that's something that, as a concept artist, especially if you're a freelancer, for example, if you're talking about clients, is that you have to be able to sell yourself. You have to be a bit of a salesman. If you're a freelancer, you have to be able to sell yourself and tell people about why they should choose you. And using Unreal Engine, and being able to tell them that you can do these extra little cherries on top will definitely help them to make a decision.
There you go. Excellent answer and excellent question, David. Thank you very much. Two great questions in a row. Good stuff. Everybody's asking great questions, so thank you guys. Chabi saying thank you, and this is really cool. Looking forward to buying this course and do a digging deep into UE. Thank you so much for the excitement about the course, Chavi, and thank you for the great questions on today's show. It's really it's an exciting show. I want to do a little rundown of everything that's happening on today's show, because there's a lot going on. First of all, we are talking about, this is kind of our first public announcement of Ellie Cooper's brand new Learn Squared course called Concept Art in Unreal Engine 5. You can see the final course image that was just on screen right there. We're looking through a bunch of her artwork that she's done, but let's go back to the course image here. It's an incredible piece of concept art that she created in the course. She's going to teach you her Unreal Engine 5 workflows to create concept art that looks as incredible as this. And if that's not enough, Ellie has created a second course, which goes over the basics of Unreal Engine 5. For anybody who might not be confident in Unreal yet, who maybe has never even touched the software before, the basics course is actually going to help you to become confident with Unreal Engine and be ready to take on larger projects. So Unreal Engine 5 concept art course is actually going to include that basics course as a free bonus. So if you, for example, have never used Unreal before, but you want to go all the way from learning the software into creating things like this, pick up concept art in Unreal Engine 5, and you'll be able to do exactly that. You're going to get both courses included. If you want to maybe use Unreal Engine 5 in a different capacity, maybe you don't want to do concept art, but you want to learn how to use Unreal Engine in general, this basics course is going to help you to get confident with all the different tools that you need, including all of the cutting edge new things that are added to specifically Unreal Engine 5. Now, we have a couple of extra really exciting things on today's show. First of all, Ellie is here doing a live demonstration. So let's go take a look again at that screen of what Ellie's doing currently on today's show. She's creating a new piece of concept art in UE5 specifically for today's broadcast. This is not, this is happening in this moment. This is not, scripted or anything. So this is amazing. Ellie is here answering questions to anybody who wants to know anything about the course, about her workflows, about her, her professional work, anything like that. Make sure you post your questions in the chat. And finally, last but certainly not least, exclusively for our live stream viewers. Again, this is only during the events of the live stream, so make sure you jump on this one, guys. If you're picking up concept art in UE5, make sure you do so with the discount code UE5Live. You can see that posted in the chat so that you can get the exact wording there. If you put that code in, UE5Live, if you insert that at checkout, you will get an extra $15 off of the course, off of the concept art in UE5 course. So make sure that you go check that out for yourself. It's an incredible amount of learning, as you've seen in all of Ellie's amazing work. Let's go back to look at some of Ellie's work here. There's just a huge variation in her body of work. And the only thing that doesn't vary is how incredible it is, because every single one of these is a masterpiece. So yeah, you're seeing here just the results of the kinds of things that you'll be able to make utilizing the techniques that you learn in this Unreal Engine 5 concept art course. And again, don't forget that even if you don't know anything about Unreal Engine 5, you will still be able to get to this level by taking this course, because it includes for free the full Unreal Engine 5 basics course. So that's super exciting. It's really, really amazing. The amount of work that Ellie has done, not only to teach her workflows, her professional workflows in using Unreal to create concept art, but also in teaching a totally beginner-friendly course about just how to use Unreal at all. That's an amazing amount of stuff that she's delivered. And I do want to remind you guys that you can, for example, if you don't need to know how to do concept art, but you just want to know how to use Unreal, you want to know how to use Unreal Engine 5 as a general thing, you can get the Unreal Engine 5 basics course on its own as a separate standalone item. So really, whatever your interest is in, whatever your skill level is, we got something for everybody here. We got a lot of great stuff in the chat here. I'm going to be getting to all your new questions and comments soon. Thank you so much to everybody for the incredible engagement, incredible excitement. We're going to jump into the course trailer one more time, and we're going to be going back into Ellie's live demo in just a second, so stay tuned.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, you won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at LearnSquared.com.
Ladies and gents, you just saw concept art in Unreal Engine 5. The trailer for the course there goes over a whole bunch of, you get to see just a bird's eye view of everything in the course and the incredible value that you're getting. If you are looking to learn concept art in UE5, you're going to be able to go in and not only have that course, but also have the UE5 Basics course. So it's a really incredible bunch of content that Ellie's created. We have Chavi saying thank you. Again, thank you to Chavi. We have Cass G saying, Cass G asked a question before saying, thank you for that insight. I want to get to that level of 90% 3D. I will buy the course and implement the workflow for my production paintings on my concept art portfolio. Thank you. And thank you to Cass G. Thank you so much for the enthusiasm. We have Gary Seto saying, hi, Ellie, a newbie here in concept art, and I've just purchased your course. Whoa, let's get some more emojis in there. I got to find some new ones. Hold on. Thank you. Thank you very much, Gary Seto. Can we get some excitement in here for everybody who's purchased the course so far? Post whatever emojis you guys got. I'm looking and just posting a bunch of random emojis in the chat. I hope they're all appropriate ones. Yeah, they're all happy faces. I don't want to post like crying faces and be like, what are the mixed messages I'm sending here? Gary said, oh, thank you so much. I wanted to ask about scheduling and the turnover time you set, or is it given to you for a client when creating for a film? That's a really interesting question. Let me throw that to you, Ellie.
Yeah, so with clients, it's normally the quicker the better. They're on a budget and a schedule, so they want you to be as kind of quick as possible. And I think it depends on the person, on the actual project and things like this. So it does differ. So normally I kind of say to people, like, perhaps let's spend, for example, like one day black and white sketching, second day getting the full final done, and then let's have the third for feedback and things like this. So I try and give that sort of turnaround, but often nowadays I find that it's a lot of communication with the client. It's not that you will go away for 2 days and not speak to them. It's normally better if you are super communicative with them and sending them things continually. It means that anything that comes up that's an issue can be stopped there. And it leaves a better taste in people's mouths. I think that they feel like you're very open and you're wanting to show them your work, and also that they feel like they're part of the process as well. But that's kind of the sort of timeline that I normally find. It does depend per image. It's really difficult to say to people, it will take this long for you to do an absolute massive world. Should take you 1 day only or 3 days only. It's really difficult to say. It does depend on the different project. For example, if you just had a field, that might take you just, half a day or a day. But if, for example, I said to you, I want you to go away and do a massive sci-fi city, I want you to do it in a half a day or a day. It might make you freak out, so it does depend on the project for different timescales and kind of how long those might take you.
Yeah, and the beauty of a course like this too is that that you don't have the pressure of like a professional obligation that's kind of bearing down on you while you work on the stuff, so you can really just make it at your leisure. But of course, a useful thing to do for anybody who's, interested in becoming a professional or in honing their professional talents as this concept art applies to their pro work, you can always, as you're taking the course, kind of set a little timetable for yourself and try to meet that, just to kind of keep yourself motivated. So there is kind of like that sort of interactive element as well as it pertains to the course, where it's like sometimes it can help you with motivation to kind of like set a deadline and try to stick to that. Or if you really want to be able to kind of play around, especially if you're new in the software, like to give yourself ample time and really just not have any deadlines or anything like that. So I think that's also, as far as it pertains to the course, a nice thing to think about is like if you are trying to up your ability to work in a professional environment, maybe to like kind of add those little extra bits of challenge to it. Thank you to Gary Seto for the question. It's an excellent question. Vivian Demoray saying, is this course going to dive into animated sequences? And while you answer that, we're going to jump back into your into Ellie's feed here to see what's happening on her screen. So is this course going to dive into animated sequences? And I can say that in the course, it does cover rendering out a cinematic, an animated cinematic of camera moves, and it goes into keyframing and posing characters and all that stuff. And so yes, you will be able to create animated sequences. It's not necessarily covering like all aspects of like how best to animate a thing or the principles of animation or things like that, but yes, it will be going into like the disciplines of how to create animated sequences. And I'll throw the rest of that question to you, Ellie, regarding in the course going over animated sequences.
Yes, so in the basics course, for example, I do demonstrate how to set up your camera and how to move the camera around to start making a animated sequence, and how to move objects going through your scene to kind of animate them, that can be translated later on down the road to perhaps, for example, a character moving or perhaps a car driving along, things like that. And then I also show you how to pose a metahuman using the sequencer. And for that, you can very quickly start to animate the metahuman and make their mouth move, make their hands move, make them get up, walk around, run around, whatever. You can really start to do that. And then in the concept course, I show you how to push your camera forward through the scene so that it starts to become an animated scene. And at that point, you should be able to feel confident enough that you could, for example, add in birds flying across your scene, or perhaps you add a metahuman walking into your scene, that you have that confidence that you'll be able to start animating these bits and pieces, and you have the confidence to do so.
That's one of the things that throughout these two courses, like I think you're really good at, Ellie, is encouraging the student to kind of like, number one, to incrementally increase the amount of like workload that they're doing so it's not overwhelming at any point. It's like you're doing this thing, and now we're going to practice this by putting it into action. But I'm not going to overload you with a million things to think about. It's really just like all you have to worry about is, how to block out a scene with basic assets, or how to like add lights to a scene, but you don't have to do anything else. It's all the assets are in, but you just have to light it, and things like that. And with these courses, like making it so that it's not only that you're doing the thing that you showed how to do, because that is useful to an extent. But what's really interesting about the course is that it's teaching you the more important skill, in my opinion, which is to think for yourself with the skills you've learned, and like apply those creatively with your own kind of like creative sensibilities and stuff. So yeah, it's that I think that's what's so cool about it, is that it, as far as that pertains to animation, like it's going to give you the tools and the kind of like knowledge that you'll need to get off the ground with that stuff, and then kind of let you creatively take that wherever you choose to take it. Yeah, and I think that's something that we, especially at Learn Squared, try to cultivate all the time, is like that our courses are really about like, we try to insert as many like homework assignments, and in the basics course we do these like challenge things that'll really help you to kind of get out of your comfort zone and learn by doing. And make sure that when you guys take the course, we had a lot of incredible people, incredible response from people even during the stream, saying that you guys are picking up the course and are excited for the course and when you do take the course, remember to upload your homework. That's a very critical part of the process. The community is, you're going to be uploading it only to a community of people that is in the same boat as you and is interested in learning just like you are. And what we've noticed just throughout across the board of people with their homeworks is that others are like really positive about it. And you know all the homework assignments that we see people uploading are always like, the person who did it will be like, oh, I never really thought about doing this thing before, but now that I did it, I feel like I would love to do like more of this, or like I felt like it was so rewarding to do it. So definitely don't discount the idea of doing the homework, just feeling like you have to like watch all the videos as fast as you can, because the homework is just as important as Ellie's video training. The actual part where you put those skills into practice is just as important. So make sure that you do that, and share with your fellow students. And of course, when you've posted your own homework, make sure to go take a look at what other people have made, and give your thoughts and show your encouragement. A lot of times, even just letting other people know that you're rooting for them and that you like the work that they're doing is really useful. That means a lot to people, especially when they're early in their journeys. So be great to each other, guys, just like you've always been doing on the stream here. We have Leon Renner, speaking of picking up the course, saying, really looking forward to the course, picked it up. Amazing. This is so cool. People are really excited about the course. Let me see if I can find any new emojis here. We got this one. Oh, we got a trophy emoji. You can hear, I don't know if you can hear my mouse just furiously clicking on every emoji that I see. I almost hit the character limit on that one. Amazing stuff, Leon Renner. Thank you for picking up the course. We're excited to see what you think of it and what you create with it. And I want to say again to Vivian Demereau, we kind of expanded on your question. I hope that was... Oh, here we go. Sweet, thanks, Ellie. Just came out of Motions UE5 course. Can't wait to jump into this one. There you go. Glad to hear that you're excited. And yeah, we can't wait to see what you create. It's really just one of the rewarding things for us. Once we put these courses out into the world, to see what you guys make, because it takes on a life of its own after the course is over. There's an incredible piece of work that was created for the course, but then what you guys make for the course is always like, whoa, this is like so cool. Like we didn't, you can't plan for that part. You can't know what everybody else is going to make. So it's always awesome to see what you guys come up with. We have Yoshio saying, I'm a C4D and Octane artist, adding Unreal to my workflow. I loved Ellie's quick concepts class and just bought the concept art course. Oh man, okay, I gotta come up with some more emojis. Ellie, people are excited about your course. That's gotta be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I've got I can't stop smiling. I mean, it's really great because there's so much that we've put into this course, like from the team at Learn Squared and myself, like to try and really help people to get into it. And it's so great to hear that people are really excited to use it. It makes it so worth it. And I really, really appreciate everyone's enthusiasm. It means a lot. It's not lost on me, everyone's enthusiasm, and I really do appreciate it. It's really exciting, and I really hope everyone also shares their homework, because I'm a massive Unreal Engine nerd. I absolutely love it. So if you share it, I will be geeking out about it and asking you how on earth you did that specific thing, and can you show me, and this, that, and the other. So please do share what you do. It's really cool and so rewarding to everyone to see what you're all up to.
It is the amount of enthusiasm that everybody has for this. I mean, this is a really like a hot topic. Like Unreal Engine 5 is just a huge, exciting thing. And I think, we're so excited that, like, first of all, that you came in to do the session that you did before. For anybody who doesn't know, Ellie did with us a Learn Squared session where it's like a live bite-sized course that she taught a while back. And that one, the quick concepts in Unreal, was incredible. And she came back to do an expanded look at her whole process all the way from the beginning with what is the basics course into like all the way through the end of her through making an entire concept painting with this concept art in UE5 course. And we're so glad to have you, Ellie. So yeah, thank you for your extremely hard work.
No, thank you so much for having me again.
And so guys, I think it's a good time to talk about what we're actually talking about here. Ellie Cooper is live on the stream right now doing a demonstration of her techniques in her brand new Learn Squared course called Concept Art in Unreal Engine 5. It is an amazing course. It goes through so much incredible stuff. Let's take a look at some of the work that Ellie's created as well. We're going to jump over to another screen here and see some of the amazing work that Ellie has made throughout her career. And you can just see the insane detail that is possible to achieve. This course is teaching you to do all of these types of these techniques. It's the first image that you saw on screen there. This one here is the course that the image that she created for the course. So you can see that it is an incredible photorealistic result that you're getting with the stuff that is created in this course. It's just so cool. And Ellie has also created a course that goes into the basics of Unreal. For anybody who's never explored Unreal before, never even used the software at all, this is going to get you confident with the various tools in Unreal. How to do all the various things that you're going to need. And so this basics course is included with the concept art course. If you want to learn how to create concept art, you'll be able to go all the way from learning the basics into creating concept art like this. Or if you don't need to learn about concept art, but you do want to learn the basics of Unreal and apply that to video games or whatever kinds of like things that you want to do, then you can take the basics course as a totally standalone thing that's available on the Learn Squared site. So really whatever your interest is, wherever your interest lies, whatever your experience level is, there is something for you. Now I want to mention again, because we're getting pretty close to the end of the show here, it's kind of like getting close to your last chance, guys. To anybody who has not jumped on this discount yet, I want to mention it again in the chat. This is available only during the events of the live stream today. So this is going to expire. This coupon code is going to expire after the show. So make sure you guys pick it up and jump on it before the show is over. Exclusively for viewers of the live stream today, you can get an extra $15 discount by using this code when you buy concept art in UE5. The code is UE5Live. So go put that in at checkout. You'll get that extra discount, and that's a big thank you to all of our people watching the live broadcast today. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm. Now, the show's not over yet. We're going to be jumping back to take another look at Ellie's live demo, and we're going to be doing some closing elements. So we're going to take another look at that course trailer, and we'll be right back in just a second.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, You won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at LearnSquared.com.
Guys, you saw it there, concept art in Unreal Engine 5. It's an incredible course. Also, another incredible course, Unreal Engine 5 Basics. Both of those are available on the Learn Squared site. Both of those are fully available courses. And if you get concept art in Unreal Engine 5, you will get the Basics course as a free bonus. So that's pretty amazing. That's an incredible value. Go check that out at LearnSquared.com. And if you're watching the show live, if you're watching our live stream right now, make sure you check the YouTube chat because there is an exclusive discount code only for people watching the YouTube live stream. Now, we're going to jump back into Ellie's demo here and take a look at what she has created. It's just it is so incredible. It is amazing to see what you've made during the events of a 2-hour demonstration.
Yeah. So you can get something so quickly with Unreal Engine, and during the course, I really hope that you guys are able to see how quickly you're able to create scenes, especially huge scenes as well. Especially in the concept art course, we're going to be doing a really big scene, so it will really show you how big you can get in Unreal Engine and how much you can enjoy it. And this is just like, this demo here is just me kind of fiddling around, messing around, things like that, and trying different assets and just having fun with the software, trying not to put too much pressure on myself doing it, and that's kind of what this course is as well, that, like we were saying earlier, is that it's to take your time and enjoy the software and get used to it and just be, really kind to yourself when you're learning new softwares. So I hope that kind of shines through as well, that this isn't to do a piece of work as quick as you can. It's to get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and I mean, having fun with the software and loving what you're making is a really essential aspect to eventually becoming quick in the software too, because you're not going to want to keep going unless you're having a great time, and I think that's something that you show off really well in the course, is how to build this confidence and how to be playful with the stuff that you're using, and really just kind of mess around, and that's what really makes somebody want to keep going, and makes somebody want to do that next project and just keep building their skill set.
Definitely.
So thank you to everybody who's been on today's show. TK, I want to say, just placed an order. Can't wait till the course comes out. TK saying November 13th, but I got good news for you, TK. Actually, the course comes out on November 10th, so you don't even have to wait that long. That's a nice little surprise bonus for you. Course comes out November 10th. Both of the courses, in fact, Unreal Engine 5 Basics as well as Concept Art in UE5, both of those come out November 10th, so you guys will be able to use, take those courses soon. TK, thank you so much for picking up the course. Hold on. Oh, I posted a crying face emoji. That's probably not a good one. That doesn't represent what the excitement level that we have here. TK, thank you so much for picking up the course. I'm going to post a bunch more emojis in that chat to celebrate. Anybody else who has picked up the course at the closeout of the show here, make sure you let us know in the chat. We'll be serenading you, let's call it, with emojis. And I want to give a big shout out here let's take a look again at Ellie's, just a bunch of Ellie's incredible work. Thank you to everybody who's been a part of today's show. It's just so much amazing love and engagement and excitement in the chat. Leon Renner, thank you, Leon Renner. Thank you, Becca Charbadze. Both of you guys hung out even before the show started. That's awesome. The Kevin World as well was in there early. Marco, welcome. Alec, Giuliano, Luis Longart, Diogo Estevez, Fisale Lafia, ABCR, Gabriel. We know Gabriel. Welcome, Gabriel. Luis, again, I'm saying Luis. Chavi, Chidum, Nino. So many people with that love in the chat. Gelust. Let's get some, I'm just going to put some hearts in there at the end. Where's the heart emoji? There's a heart emoji. Just for everybody who has been a part of today's show. Nathan Bierset, Emmanuel Essay. Thank you so much, guys. TK, Josh Plans. God of Gods, Dandatron, we know Dandatron, Armani Tsunami. Thank you guys. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. The chat kind of like it's hard to look at sometimes. Dougie Ladd, Kaz G, Lucas Debe Canton. Thank you guys. David. Did I say David? I'll say it again. Gary Seto, Vivian Demaray, Yoshio. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Vivian Demaray saying, I'm in. It's amazing. The amount of love in here is so incredible. Hold on, I gotta find some new emojis for you now. Oh, is it a dab emoji? I think it is. I got a hands clapping. Some of these I don't even know what they're supposed to represent. But I'm posting them anyway. They're all cool looking. Guys, thank you so much for the excitement on today's show. Ellie, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for everyone's support and all your excitement. It means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Finally, this course that you're looking at on screen here, Concept Art in Unreal Engine 5, is available on the Learn Squared site right now. You can pre-order it today. It is coming out on November 10th. And this course as well, Unreal Engine 5 Basics, is also available now for pre-order and is coming out on November 10th. So guys, whether you want to learn all the way from the basics to the full creation of concept art, or whether you just want to learn the basics for yourself, either way, make sure you go ahead to the Learn Squared site and pick up a course for yourself. Do something amazing for yourself. New Year's resolution. New Year's coming up. You can start a new skill for New Year's. Holidays are coming up. You can pick up some nice gifts for anybody who's the artist in your family, wants to learn a little bit of Unreal. Head over to the Learn Squared site, guys, and check them out for yourself. You can see all sorts of info about that. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all the love in your chat, in the chat here. Misael Chan saying, Ellie, thank you for sharing your time. Thank you, Ellie. Bryant Grizzle saying, just picked it up. Hold on, we got to get some more emojis in that chat before we head out of here. Bryant Grizzle, thank you so much for picking up the course. We got Adam Carr saying, thanks, Ellie. A lot of love in that chat.
Yeah, no problem, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing your time as well to come and watch the announcement as well.
And with that, let's go take a look at that course trailer, and we will see you next time.
See you later.
Are you ready to supercharge your concept art with Unreal Engine 5? Ellie Cooper utilizes the amazing power of Unreal Engine to create photorealistic imagery, which can then be used in final paintovers, rendered as videos, or explored to find new and interesting angles. In her brand new Learn Squared course, Ellie will take you through her entire concept art workflow, from ideation and blockouts to asset placement, lighting, and paintovers. When you know how to use it efficiently, Unreal can help you to go from simple shapes to ultra-realism extremely quickly. And with Ellie's workflows, you'll be turning your most epic ideas into reality. But what if you're an absolute beginner who's never used Unreal Engine before? Ellie's got you covered. She's recorded an entire second course focused on teaching the earliest fundamentals of Unreal, putting your learning to the test with small creative assignments along the way. By the end of this Unreal Engine 5 Basics course, You won't just know about UE5, you will have already created multiple scenes within the software and will be comfortable enough to take on larger projects. Unreal Engine 5 Basics will be available for purchase on its own as a standalone, but students who purchase Ellie's Concept Art in UE5 course will receive Unreal Engine 5 Basics as a free bonus. This means even the earliest beginner will be able to progress all the way from learning the tools to building a fully featured, gorgeous piece of concept art. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and begin your journey at LearnSquared.com.